Hello, my little crafty monsters. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is fabulous. So, in today's fabulous tutorial, stop it. That's enough. In this tutorial, we are going to be making some Halloween themed shaker tags. These are little shaker tags. Okay, well, are you guys? Yeah, they're in there. See, mira que tan cute. So these are little shaker tags we're going to be making. I know, there's a lot of shaker tags out there, but none of them look like these ones because we made these little bad boys right here, boo-boos. And look at how cute this is. So the theme for this Halloween is use what you got, because I believe you should use your supplies anyway. There's no sense in hoarding it, my little crafty monsters. Don't be looking at me like that. Y'all need to start using your stuff, boo-boos. So make some cute little shaker tags. Just start building your stash, boo-boos. Make, sit your little cute butt down in front of the TV and make yourself some like 12 tags and just have them offhand. So whenever you have little projects, you already have them. So we went ahead and we made these little bad boys right here. And these little stamps right here, the mermaid and the little zombie unicorn, this is from whoa, focus, hold up, welcome back. So these stamp sets are from Michaels and they are last year's. I did go to Michaels this year and no, I don't see them, so I don't know if it was just the last year's little stamp set, but you could use any kind of little monster that you guys have on there, a little crafty monster or something, But anywho, we had these little stamps and we just went ahead and we reused these because we already had them stamped in our little stash. That is the good thing of making extra stuff sometimes, you guys, and just keeping your stash pretty stocked, because you guys are going to see in this video, we pulled out the stamp, but we already had some of these already stamped. All we had to do was cut them because they were colored. And I said, brilliant, we'll just use them because they worked really, really good. So anyway, let's not waste any more time, my little crafty monsters, because I know you guys want to get down and dirty and make these little bad boys. So let's get down and dirty and I will see you in a bit. Alrighty then, my little crafty monsters, let's get down and dirty and make these little bad boys right here. So this is the supplies we're going to be using. We will be using some Sizzix nesting tag dies that I have. I'm pretty sure you guys have some tag dies. If not, there's a lot of other ways to make these tags, and all you would have to do is just use an X-Acto knife to cut out your little window in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and cut these down to strips where I can go ahead and run these through my little Sizzix machine. And we will be making several cuts, and this is so that we could achieve the shaker card. We will be cutting solid black ones, and these are for the back part of the shaker tags, and we are using 110-pound Recollections cardstock, so it is a thicker paper. Once we have these back ones cut out, we're going to go ahead and do the front panels, and we need a window in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and tape the smaller nesting tag that goes after the big one that we just used. Just use the next size down is basically what I'm trying to say. And you tape those and you cut that out, and it makes like a little frame. And you're also going to want to cut those out of some foam paper as well, or what is it called, foam sheets. And the reason why you're going to want to do that is because this is how we are going to put together our little shaker card tag, whatever it is that it's called. So we're gonna go ahead and cut out some white cardstock of just one full tag, the big one. That is because we're going to use that for the inside of the tag, so that we're going to go ahead and ink it and stuff like that to give it a little bit of color, but we don't want it to be black because then you really won't be able to see too much of the sequences and all the good little goodies that you put inside of your shaker tags. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and ink our little tag just to give them a little extra color. Now you could have used any kind of, and oh my god, Jesse, what are you saying? You could have used any colored cardstock that you guys have offhand. However, I decided that I wanted to ink it because I wanted that, that high and low kind of effect that you get when you ink paper. So I went ahead and just used some white cardstock, and I figured, hey, let's just, do the whole back card like that. And so it worked out pretty good. And so I like how it looks. It just gives it that little extra pop of color for the back. And we are going to stamp some images on these that are coordinating with the theme that we're going. So I'm laying one of these little frames in the front so I know exactly where I have to stamp, where it's going to be basically visible. And so, because we're going to be making a unicorn one and a mermaid one, we want the little stamp to go with the theme. So for the unicorn, we're going to go ahead and do a little, like a little cloud with a lightning bolt. And I think that was like super duper cute. So we're going to go ahead and use that little bad boy for the unicorn. And like I said, using that extra little, the frame in the front will actually give you an idea on where you're able to stamp that it's still going to show. Now, the unicorn might be covering some of these little images that you're stamping, but you know, if you hold them in a certain angle, you'll still be able to see a lot of these little details that you're putting into these tags. And so for the mermaid, we're going to go ahead and use these skeleton fishes and a little broken heart, which I think is super duper cute. And now we're going to go ahead and look for things and images and clip arts and little glittery goodies and stuff like that that we can go ahead and use onto these tags. These are the stamps that we're going to use. Lucky for us that we already had them stamped and colored. Hallelujah. That just saved us a couple of extra steps. So all we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and cheat and just cut these little bad boys out. That is a good thing about making extra whenever you're doing projects, because then you'll always have something on hand. And I think that that's like super super awesome when things like that happen. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just fussy cut these little bad boys. I don't really dislike fussy cutting, but you know, if I could get a scan and cut, boo boos, trust and believe I'm gonna be getting a scan and cut, and we wouldn't have to be fussy cutting these little images anymore, and I would probably save up on buying dies as well. Anywho, that's not what this video is about. So get on focus, my little crafty monsters. You're always getting derailed. So right here, we're just going to go ahead and cut out my little unicorn. I really think this unicorn is super duper duper cute. Now, if some of y'all got this little stamp set, lucky you guys, because I'm pretty sure you guys love this little stamp set. It's super duper cute. Obviously, they didn't come with any coordinating dies, but you didn't really need the coordinating dies because the shapes were pretty easy to cut out. So that wasn't, you know, a deal breaker. I had to have this little stamp set. This year's stamp set is a llama. I'm going to go ahead and get that little one too. It's a zombie llama. I love that one. So now that we have our main images cut out and everything stamped, we're going to go ahead and start layering all of our little tags together so that we can see basically how it's going to look. And so I'm going to go ahead and layer that white paper that we went ahead and sponged, or not sponged, but inked. I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto the base of our tag. And then we're going to go ahead and start basically cutting all of the little foam sheets that we need to cut in order for it to give us the dimensions so that we can go ahead and turn this little bad boy into a shaker card. Now, I should have cut those out before I took apart these little dies when I had them taped the first time, but that's no biggie. All you have to do is get one of your frames, stick it back into your die and layer it so that you can tape it up again and they'll be held together. And then now what we're going to do is, I was going to use this double-sided tape. I really was. I was going to go ahead and go for it, boo-boos. Before, like, I used to do it a lot like this, and they used to come out really, really good. But the thing is that you have to cut that foam down a lot, and I kind of started disliking that. So I would use it if it was a straight frame, like a straight square. But for things that are cut like in an angle and stuff, like the edges of these tags, you want to kind of go with this method. You could either do the foam sheets, or you can go ahead and just do thick cardstock. Just cut out a few of them and glue them together to make like a little, you know, like, I want to call them a little, like a little pool. You're just making a little pool, and then you could throw in all of your little sequences, and then you put on your top plastic part. It always works really, really good. Like, I actually love making my shaker tags this way. It just, I mean, it just works out. And so, there's so many different ways for you guys to make little shaker tags. I mean, I know that there's a lot of techniques out there, but this is the technique that I like, and this is the technique that works for me. And you guys really should try it. Once you guys try it, I'm pretty sure you're gonna fall in love. Not only that, but it also kind of gives your shaker tag a little bit more of a sturdier feel to it because it's a lot thicker, it's a lot heavier, it's just a lot better. So anyway, right here we're going to go ahead and cut out the little tags for each of these little bad boys. Well, I mean the little foams for each of these little bad boys. And we're going to do 4 for each. And the reason why I've decided to do 4 for each was because I wanted my little shaker tag to be a little thick, on the thicker side, and I wanted to be able to put in a lot of stuff in that little shaker. And so then like that, you have so much movement going on in there, it just looks a lot better. So I decided to go with 4 little foam frames per tag. You could do less than that. Just remember that if you are going to do like maybe just 1 or 2, make sure that your sequences are the flat sequences and not any sequence that has any kind of like a 3D effect on it, because then you don't really give that much room to that sequence for it to dance around in the shaker. And so now we're going to go ahead and just cut our acetate. We're going to be using the largest tag die that we got. But I want to go ahead and just cut these down because the sheet's too big to fit into my little big shot. So we're going to go ahead and cut that little bad boy down, and we will be cutting one of the largest tags out of this little acetate. And this acetate is those Shrinkadinks. You guys know that I love to use those Shrinkadinks. The reason why I love using those sheets is because the acetate, the plastic, is a lot thicker. Now you can't use any heat on it, guys, because it will shrink. But for the most part, you can go ahead and use these little bad boys for shakers because, like I said, the plastic is thick and it just gives it that really good sturdy feel to it. So now that we cut those little bad boys down, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and reconnect these little dies together to make that frame again, because I totally forgot that I wanted to make a cute little frame for the front part of this little shaker tag. Plus we also needed another extra black frame so that we can layer the plastic. You guys will see once I start putting it together, it's gonna all make sense. So go ahead and cut your little DSP paper so that it'll fit into your big shot. And I chose to use this paper right here because we've used this paper on a previous project, and I'm on a kick where use what you got. I'm trying not to buy anything new, Little Crafty Monster, seriously, but yesterday I did go to Michael's and I was looking for some stuff, and I did buy 2 new dies. I will show you guys on a little haul, and some other little stamps that I got from Tuesday morning. But for the most part, I didn't really want to buy anything, so I've been trying to use what I got. I've been trying to, use up all of my supplies, so I'm not hoarding it, and I'm not just keeping on holding on to it and just adding more and more to the pile, because as we all know, we downsized in a craft room, so we don't have as much room as we used to. Anywho, why are you guys going off again? I'm telling you, you guys always derail on these subjects. Focus, my little ferrets, focus. And so right here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that little frame out. The good thing about cutting these two is that you will have that little smaller tag, that the window one that you made, and you can make a cute little tag out of that DSP paper because it's just a lot better. Sorry about that, my little crafty monsters. So you see, you would definitely be able to use up that little center tag that you just cut out. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start gluing all of my little foam sheet frames that we created. So I just like to tack on that little glue so that it's really sealed, because when that Eileen's tacky glue also dries up, it also kind of, how can I explain it? It kind of like forms like a film as well. Like it does like it just fills into all the little cracks and all the little, edges, and so it just basically seals it, and that's why I like using this Eileen's glue. Does it take a little while to dry? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You will be sitting your cute little butt down for a little bit because it will take a while to dry. So, my advice would be to cut these little bad boys first and then glue these together and allow these little bad boys to dry while you're doing all of your stamping and all your other die cuttings and stuff like that. But Jesse normally would have done that. However, right now, Jesse's little brain is on vacation still, so boy, he's been on vacation before you even moved. I don't know what is wrong with you, seriously. He is out of it. But anyway, so I would have done that so that all of those little frames would have already glued together, and you would not have to sit there and wait your pretty little heads. But in this video, we're going to go ahead and rush everything because, everything needs to be videotaped. And so I went ahead and I glued those little bad boys together onto the back part of my tag. And now right here, I'm going to use Tombow because I'm trying to glue that acetate onto paper. And you definitely want to use a glue that's a little bit stronger than that Eileen's Tacky Glue. So Tombow has always worked for me. So I'm going to go ahead and spread a little bit on there. A little goes a long way, guys. Don't saturate this because once you press onto this frame, it's going to ooze out that glue. And you don't want that glue onto your acetate because it's permanent and it is really hard to get off. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do that for the next tag. We're going to do that for both tags. And the reason why I'm doing the plastic acetate in between two of the frames is because it just secures that acetate a lot better. I mean, I just think that it looks better as well. You guys could just go ahead and glue this straight onto those foam frames. But, right here, Jesse put them in between a paper frame, if that makes any sense. Does it make sense? Yes, it makes sense. Well, it did in my little head, so I hope it did in your little head too. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use my little powder tool to take off all of the static and take off any stickiness that is going around in the glue, because you don't want your sequence or your glitter to be getting stuck on there. In this case, we will be using some glitter, so I don't want that to get stuck in the little crevices. And you know how that always happens with the shaker tags and shaker, anything you shake, boo-boos. But so now comes the fun part. We're going to go ahead and start adding all of our sequence, or he already started adding his sequence. And we're adding different kinds. We're adding some little orange pumpkins. We're adding some little black bats. We're adding like this little table scatter that I've purchased from Z Dollar Tree last year, and it's just all kinds of cute little Halloween shapes, and and like it's just everything that's Halloween in my head. And so now I want to go ahead and add some like red sequence. I'm going to add some black sequence. I even have I don't know what I added. Oh, right here, this is that glitter. It's like this, I don't know. This glitter is freaking amazing. I love it. It's like this black charcoal-ish kind of rainbow glitter. I mean, it's not your regular glitter. It's like little tiny, tiny strips. It looks really cute. And so we're going to go ahead and use that as the inside glitter. And now for the fun part is to go ahead and seal your top onto your little shaker tag. At this point, you don't want anything to move because you don't want nothing to get glued down with your top part. So make sure that you're very careful on this part on not putting a lot of glue. And we are using Tombow on this again because, like I said, I want this to be secure and I want this to not go anywhere. And Tombow glue tends to be a perfect glue for that little task right there. So now that we have our little shaker tags all put together, now we're going to go ahead and start layering all of our decorations in the front of the tags. And right here, I'm going to go ahead and use my little foam bats that we purchased. I don't remember where I got these. They either were at Hobby Lobbies, they were at Michael's, or they were... I do believe that it was one of those two stores. And so we're going to go ahead and layer our little mermaid in front of the mermaid tag. Make sure that you're putting them in front of the proper tags. If you're just making one theme, well, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you're making two different themes, make sure you're putting it on the right tag, because there's nothing worse than sticking a clip art on the wrong on the wrong one. So now that we have our main characters on the front of these little tags, this is like the fun part. I love decorating all this stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and get one of my little sentiment Halloweens, my little Halloween sentiments. I said that all backwards. This is a stamp set that I purchased from Michaels a few years back, and so I don't know if they have it. It was just a bunch of little, words and sayings and sentiments, and this was perfect because I just went ahead and stamped that on some white cardstock, and we're gonna go ahead and cut that little bad boy out. And then after we cut it, we're gonna go ahead and slap some distress ink onto that little bad boy, or the oxide inks. I don't remember what I used, but we're going to go ahead and ink that just to give it a little bit extra color. But I wanted the lettering to be black because I wanted it to be bold and it to stand out in front of our little tag. I don't know why, I just thought that that little warning sign just looked perfect in front of the zombie tag, so that people will know, watch it, boo-boos, don't cross this line because that zombie's going to eat you. That's what he's going to do, boo-boo. Do zombies eat people, or do they just kill them? I don't know. I don't really watch zombie movies. Some of you have been probably all into that Walking Dead or whatever that show's called, but it just never interests me. However, I do love this little zombie unicorn and this zombie mermaid, and I'm, like I said, I'm definitely gonna go to Michael's and buy that little zombie llama because I thought that was adorable. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take out these little rhinestone black hearts that I have purchased at the little hole in the wall in downtown that I love to shop at. You guys, if you have seen my lives way in the beginning when I first started, we used to go shopping there together. And so we're going to go ahead and put some little foam onto the back of these warning signs so that it gives it more of a dimension and it's, sticking outwards instead of just being flat onto our tag. I mean, I just think it gives it a little something more to the eye. So that's why I put that there. But, you don't have to add the little foam squares if you don't want to. You guys could definitely just leave them flat, whatever tickles your fancy. And right here, I'm just looking for some black and red sequins because I wanted to see if I could use some of those, like the little bling, but I just said, nah, I'm just going to use these little black hearts. And I will be using some of my little tarantulas or black widows or whatever it is that they're called. And we will be using this E6000 to go ahead and glue our little hearts and to glue our little spiders onto these tags. And the reason why I love using E6000 versus hot glue for things like this is because the hot glue, once it dries, you guys, it will tend to peel those little items off really easy, especially if they're slick, smooth surfaces. Like the back of these little hearts are pretty smooth, and even those little black widows or the little tarantulas, whatever it is we're using, those little suckers are also easy to peel off if you were to just do them with the hot glue gun, because on previous projects they have fallen. So to secure that, to make sure that they don't go anywhere, I would recommend that you guys use that E6000 or any kind of other adhesive that's way stronger, like a crazy glue or something. The E6000 does have kind of a little bit of a smell to it, but turn on your fan, your little desk fan, and don't breathe those chemicals in, my little crafty monsters. I don't want you guys all high off of glue. And so now that we got these little bad boys off, we're going to go ahead and stick these in the front of our little tags. And that just gave it that little dimension. It makes it look like those little characters are behind that little warning sign, which is adorable. So right here, I'm just adding some little bit of a gold shimmer onto the little horn of the unicorn, because I just wanted to give it a little extra pop. And then we're going to go ahead and use this little glitter Spectrum Norm pin, and we're going to go ahead and give a little touch to the hair of the mermaid and also to the little unicorn. That's just to give it a little bit extra shimmer. Now, you saw me using a piece of white paper to clean off the color of my glitter pin, because since we use watercolor markers when we painted these little stamps, it was coming off on my little glitter pen. So you want to make sure you wipe that off. And now we're going to go ahead and use these little stickles. Now the stickles, I'm going to go ahead and use some clear glitter onto the little mermaid body. And we will be using some black ribbon and also some purple ribbon in order to give it that little ribbon effect on the very top. But we're also going to be attaching kind of like what is it? It's that really thin yarn that you would basically use to make little doilies off of your what is it? Oh my God, Jesse, why can't you talk? It's you know, when you're crocheting, that's what I'm trying to say. So when in the crochet section where you do the little, you know, the little doilies, they have this little thin black, and I mean, they have different colors, but I'm using a black one. And that is so that the person that's going to be using these on the gift, or if I'm going to use these, I'm going to use that little string to tie these tags onto whatever item I want, and not those ribbons that I'm just using as a little decor. But you want to make sure that that string is in the very middle. So I did mess up when I made the first one. And so now what we're going to do is we're basically going to take off that staple. And then we're going to go ahead and add this little black string. Like I said, this is the black string that we're going to use if we need to attach this tag onto anything. And you could basically use the ribbon that you have on there. But I like to use that ribbon more of just a decor versus it to be used to hold the tag down, if that makes any sense. Does it make sense? Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. So now that I have that little string in the middle of these ribbons, I'm going to go ahead and staple this again. Now, the staple that I'm using, it is a colored staple. I believe they're purple. So everything goes together. On those staples, on that one that I am using right now, I always use colored staples on it. If you see me using a silver one, that silver one usually is just silver staples. So I like using this one because it has all my little colored ones in there. I do have a variety of colored staples. I have all kinds of colors, but I think it's cute. So once you stapled it with that little purple staple, now you get your little stickles, and you can go ahead and just slap some onto the little body of the mermaid just to give it more of like the little scaled look. It just looks a lot cuter. And now I just cut all of those little ribbons on the top of our tags into little, angles, and we are done with these little bad boys, my crafty monsters. Welcome back, my little crafty monsters. That's how easy it was to make these little bad boys. I know you guys like these. I know you guys liked them. Super duper easy by just cutting the little styrofoam and just stacking them, because you don't have to worry about the whole little tape. We were going to go that route, but then I thought about it and I said, no, I actually like doing it this way. It's just a lot more sturdier, and the tags are a lot more sturdier. So you don't have to do the whole 4 layers. You can only do 2 if you want, or even 1. However, 1 will probably not give your sequence enough room. Although, now that I think about it, my sequence is all flat. All the sequence I use is flat, so maybe it would work with just 1 layer. Anywho, that's how easy it was to make these little bad boys, and I hope you guys try out to make some little shaker tags for Halloween, because that would be so adorable to put onto like a little Halloween basket or something that you're going to gift to that little special someone. I know I'm gonna make a little Halloween basket for somebody. And I think that little tag would be amazing. And I could go ahead and just, cut out a little quartz stalk, a lighter color, and glue it on there and write a little note for that person or whatever. Maybe it's for a birthday. You don't know. You never know what it's for. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed that video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that little icon. It's a picture of moi. And if you push that button, we become BFFFFFFF. Okay? Because I know that BFs is good, but BFFFFFFs is better. And I know you guys want to be my BFFFF, so go ahead and hit that little icon. It's my picture. And also, since you're already there, go ahead and hit the little bell icon, because that's for you. That's so you guys don't miss out on any fabulous tutorials coming up. And also, hit that little thumbs up, because our channel needs it, so you help us grow. Give us a thumbs up, guys, and share and tell a friend, because your friends also need to know how fabulous these tutorials are. Don't be greedy, boo-boos. Don't be greedy. Go and tell the world tell them about Paper Masterpiece. And that's it for now, my little crafty monsters. Until next time, goodbye.